So this evening, want to deal with well, a couple of things, not just this year. Income tax. We'll talk about a little. We'll talk about a few, household bills. How is it they calculate your bills? And we'll talk a little bit about foreign exchange, how you do it. Basic, stuff that you as a um, bills that you have to pay in your house and how to manage those monies and so, that sort of thing. We'll talk a little about profit and loss, discount. Uh, Sometimes when you buy, you pay tax, and so they call sales tax, and Guyana you call it VAT. Talk about those things briefly, right? That's a little touch on them. Once you understand something named percentage and how to calculate percentage, you're good to go, right? Um, so let's start with this matter of income tax. You notice the last day we were talking about gross salary and gross wage. But that's not what you take home, right? What you take home is your net income. Government had to, we call it a taxman. He has to take his piece, right? So I'll give you a little formula here. A little formula. All right, so what usually happens, you have a certain gross income, as you see here, gross income. And what they'll do, they'll deduct from those or they'll take out from this gross income what we call tax-free allowances, right? We might have a personal allowance. I think they call it an income tax threshold for everybody. If you're paying a mortgage, they'll say that, okay, that amount that you pay to the bank as a mortgage, well, they wouldn't tax that, right? Some other things they don't. And as a, it makes no sense me telling you some of those things because every country is different. Guyana here is very, very complex how they calculate the tax, right? But basically, this is it. Take the gross income, they take out the tax-free allowances, and whatever is left back, well, then they charge a certain percent of tax. Again, it's not one number, right? It's more than one number. That changes from year to year, depending on what's going on. And when they calculate that tax now out of your taxable income, right? Something called your taxable income. That's this here. You take your taxable income and you multiply it by some percentage. And mind you, this taxable income, if you depend on how much you work, can be broken up into parts, right? So they'll say for the first, let's say you're dealing with a year, the first $2 million, they'll probably take 33 and 1/3%. And then if you earn more than that, they'll say, all right, we'll take 20%, So it's very, very complex. It's not a simple thing. But we're not going to deal with very complex issues, right? Or else the mathematics is going to, be very difficult for you to follow. And whatever is there, the tax, right? The tax is going to be equal to your taxable income multiplied by whatever percent the government wants from you, right? And when you take that tax now, notice you take it out of your gross income. Notice the subtraction sign. You take out the tax from your gross income, and this is what you take home. Right? That's what you take home. I'll try to do one because, as I told you, they're very complex. That's why, as a matter of fact, in other countries, even in Guyana, people go and pay people to do their taxes. Extremely complex procedure. So keep in mind this little formula, right? So let's see if we can see if I can find a simple one. Let's see. What about this one? The thing within notification around. Good. So let's take this one. So this is, well, they're dealing with it annually, right? Because there's monthly calculations you can do as well, right? There's weekly calculation you can do as well. But I just want to, let you get a sense of how they do the income tax, right? You can, in that's a whole couple well hours of training you got to get to calculate tax. You got to really know accounting before you can do taxes, right? People do that as a business. You follow the news, Donald Trump hire huge tax, accountants too, so that he doesn't have to pay any tax. And then finish cooking up the books, right? They do it right in Guyana here. Anyway, let's look at this one. So you want to know what the questions they have in one. What are if I can figure it? All right. Can you all see this? Can you see this? Let me know if you can see it, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. They're telling you that a nurse works, and this is an annual calculation. As I said, there's monthly, there's weekly, right? And you cannot learn that in one session. Because remember, we have about 5 topics to do, right? You have to actually do a course on income tax calculation. As I said, there are forms that do these things, right? It's very, very complex. I am going to try to oversimplify it here. For this person, I'm just doing an annual one, right? This person works for $9,460. He contributes 2% of his salary to a medical scheme. Notice percentage coming. You got to know to calculate percentage, right? And they're telling you his medical scheme is non-taxing, right? And they give you a breakdown. They give you a breakdown on the other non-taxable allowances, right? And they also give you the income tax rate and so on, right? Good. So let's see what they're telling you. So you got to first calculate, they say the total amount of his annual salary that is non-taxable. So we want to calculate the non-taxable, right? Non-taxable. I'll call that allowances, right? Let's add all those up. So it says he pays 2% to medical scheme, to a medical scheme, right? So first of all, we got to find 2%, and somebody start working their calculator there. 2% of $29,460. Tell me how much is that, right? Then $37 for every month, national insurance. So 12 months in a year. $37 multiplied by 12. Give me another figure here, right? And they say $3,000 per annum for personal allowance. So personal allowance, $3,000, right? So this is his NIS. This is his what do you call it? Medical scheme. So anybody can give me that figure, 2% of 29,460.
$589.2.
Say it slowly. I'm not getting the first part.
589.2.
200, you said?
589.2.
The first part I'm losing.
Yes, sir. The 2% by that.
Yeah, how much is it?
589.2.
Are you saying 800?
No, sir. 589.2. 589.2.
Exactly. You gotta say it slowly. When you just clip your words like that, 589.2.
0.2.
Ah, good. Multiply $37 for his NIS by 12 now. This is a dollar sign missing here. 37 by 12.
$26,344.
37 by 12. $37
Yes, sir.
by 12.
Yes, sir.
How much?
Hold on.
How can be $1,000? $37. Like
400. Sorry, sir. 444.
444. They did not tell us whether he has a wife. I'm not seeing that there, right? No wife. They didn't say anything but children. So we can't assume nothing. So add these up. These are his tax-free allowances. Out of this, 589.2 not 444 and 3,000. Add them all.
Sir, 4,033.2.
4,000.
33.2.
4,300 and what? You are calling numbers, man. Call a number like you call a number. You 4,000 what? 4,000.
Sir, I got $4,030.2. That would be 4030.2.
So that's the first part. They ask you the total amount of his salary that is non-tax or not tax. That's it. That's it. A. The B part, his annual taxable salary. Value taxable salary is going to be equal to 29,460 minus give me that. Subtract $4,030.20 from 29,460.
Sir, that's going to be 25,429.8.
So that's the taxable income. So that's the B part, right? Now we want the actual tax he has to pay. And this is the tax structure here. So how much he has to pay in the tax? 20% on the first 4,000. So 20% of $4,000. How much is that?
Sir, that would be $800.
Great. I have to give this girl some extra marks for her participation in this class. Right? Good. So that's
Yes, sir.
huh? Yeah. That's the only for the 4,000. Now he has to remember it's $25,429.80 is taxable. For the first 4,000, he's gonna pay $800. For the rest now. So you take $25,429.80. Subtract the 4,000 from it, right? Times 25%. And that will be how much? So take the 25,000. If you want to put it 25% in front, no problem. So take the $25,490.80. Subtract 4,000. What does that be? Let me write it down. 25% of, give me this. $25,429.80 minus 4,000. How much? Will it be okay? I should watch it until that. $21,429.80, right? So 25% of that divided by 4 and see what happens. 25% is a quarter, right? Take $21,429.80 divided by 4. Tell me what you get.
Sir, that would be 5,357.45.
That's it. Good. So the total tax will be $800 plus this $5,357.45, whatever that works out to. I don't know, 6,000 something.
Sir, they have 6,157.45.
Great. So that's the person's income tax for the year. All right, so you see how complex it is? It's a complex procedure. Right? We started, look.
Sir, excuse me.
Yeah.
Our calculation is wrong.
Uh,
It is 6,174.45.
no, I think she's right. I see. Wait. All right, let me try it. What is it? 5. Okay. 5,357. 145,200.
No, sir, that is
Our
correct.
answer is right. Our answer is correct.
Yeah,
Because I punched it back in the calculator and I have the same thing.
yeah, great. Yes. So you see how complex it is. You have to figure out the non-taxable allowances. And mind you, this man, if they had mentioned that he had a wife and he had children, oh my, well, it gets more complex now. Right? Then we have to calculate the taxable income by subtracting all his tax-free allowances. We get it $25,429.80. And then there's a tax structure. The first $4,000, 20%. The rest, 25%. See? So we have a tax structure that you have to use. So 20% of the first $4,000, that's $800. In excess of $4,000, when we figure it out, it's going to be 25,429.80, which is all the taxable income, minus 4,000, because you already calculate the tax on the first 4,000. The rest of the money now, they want 25% of it. Right? So you find that we got $5,357.45. You have to add those two, the 800 and that. So in all, he pays $6,157.45. Right? In Guyana here, I think if you pay a mortgage, the mortgage is also tax-free. So yeah, lots of things, man. Some places, I think if you work weekends, that's tax-free. Right? I remember when I used to work at Suku, if you work on the weekends, anything in excess of 40 hours, they never use to tax it. It's very complex. It's not the simple thing, that we're seeing in the textbook, and so it's much more complex. All right, so we want to touch on something called, this is something you should know about, profit and loss, right? Profit and loss, right? Just to throw up some formulas there. Some formulas for you. Right? Let's say you're into business and you're selling something at a certain price, the selling price you call it. But you bought the something for a certain cost price. The profit then is that selling price minus the cost price, right? That shouldn't be difficult for you to figure out. Whatever you sell the thing for minus what you bought the thing for, right, is called a profit. And the profit percent, or sometimes you hear people say the percentage profit, is whatever the profit is over the cost price times 100%. Right? But you remember also that the profit is really the selling price minus the cost price. Right? So the percent profit can be written two ways. Profit over the cost price multiplied by 100%, or selling price minus cost price over the cost price times 100%. Right? The same force formula here, this one here, if you rearrange it, this is what you'll get. The selling price is equal to the cost price plus the profit. You see that? Watch. If I take the cost price over the equal sign here, this minus is going to become plus, right? So you get the profit plus the cost price. That's what this is. Profit plus the cost price equal to the selling price. These are some very important formulas. And with them, you can actually do a whole lot of calculations that involve profits, and percentage profit and selling price and cost price and so on. Right? So let me do maybe let's look at an example, right? Uh, okay, so look at this one. So they say a shopkeeper buys 25 cricket balls at a total cost of $150. He sells them for $8 each. What was his percent profit? Right? So, okay, the cost price, CP, equal 150. Selling price is $8 multiplied by 25, right? That's $25, right? And how much is that? 8 by 25 is 200.
Yes, sir. 200.
Yeah, so we want to know his percent profit. So remember we said percent profit equal selling price minus cost price over the cost price multiplied by 100%. So we put in the numbers 200 minus 150 over 150 divided by 100%, and we get what? 50 over 150, what's that? 1/3. So it's 33 and 1/3%. See, that makes sense.
Sir,
Yes,
when I
sir.
work out, I got 199.
Check back here.
No, sir, it's 33.33.
Yeah, well, that's 33 and 1. And again, these problems too can get very, very complex, right? Right, where they can ask you for different things in that formula, different things, right? Let's look at one of them. So in this one, uh, so it says here, businessman sold a refrigerator for $2,745, right? It's got to be US they're talking about, right? And he makes a profit of 15% of the cost price. Calculate the cost price of the refrigerator. So here they give you the selling price, right? They give you the selling price. So there are various ways you can do this, right? So let's see if we can do it. I'll probably do it 2 ways. So according to this thing here, the selling price, 27.45 minus the cost price. We don't know that. over the cost price multiplied by 100 equal to 15%, right? Agree?
Yes.
Is that what that information is saying? I'm hearing nothing.
Yes, sir.
Good. So we got to rearrange to get CP, cost price. So here's where your transposition will come in. So we can take the 100 over and divide, right? Because we divide through by 100, so you'll get 2745 minus cost price over the cost price equal to, we divide the 50 over 100, right? Good. So you can actually change this up to mean, all right, 2745 minus 0.15, right? That's what 15 over 100. Now we can actually slide this up. You can put it like this over 1 and cross multiply. So you'll have 2745 minus cost price equal to 0.15 of the cost price, right? Then we can take this over here, simple equation. You see, that's why I did that the last day. So you end up with 2745 equals to 0.15 CP. This is like X, plus CP. So 2745 is equal to 0.15 CP plus 1 CP will be 1.15 CP, right? We need to find CP, isn't that so? I'll move it up a little
Yes,
bit.
sir.
So 2745 divided by 1.15 equal to CP. So CP is equal to, divide this to me,
Sorry, 2,385.
2,300. And that's the cost price. So that's one approach. So you see how all the work we did on equations the other night, how it's coming into play here. We're not dealing with X and Y, but CP is very much an unknown, right? You're treating it like the X. You have to manipulate, move around this formula until you can solve for CP, right? There's an alternative approach that we can use. So maybe I can, let me throw it back here. I call for a bit of reasoning, right? They said that, okay, the man is selling the thing for $2,745. And that money actually includes a 15% profit. So you can, there's a method in the textbook says, okay, let the cost price equal to 100, oh my, 100%. Let the cost price be 100%, right? So remember, this selling price would normally include the cost price and the profit. So the selling price is really 115%, right? Because the selling price include the cost price and some profit. So what you can now say, okay, 115% is equal to 27.45. Therefore, 1%, 1% is equal to 27.45 divided by 115. Because if it's 115% is this, then 1%, you divide both sides by 115, you will get what? 27.45 divided by 115 is on.
$23.869.
How much? 23, is it?
23. Yes, sir. 23.869.
Oh, 0.869. Leave the decimals to me. Good. So remember, cost price is equal to 100%. So if this is 1%, if 23.869 is 1%, and you want 100%, you have to multiply that by 100, right? And you will get how much? You'll get
2,386.9.
right? And it's now
Yes,
what
sir.
the previous part?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See? So this is an alternative approach. So not every time they'll give you all the cost price and the selling price, you have to calculate percent profit. No. They could twist this problem all around, so you have to manipulate that formula. And that's why we did formula, how to move them around, you know? How to solve equations, all of that will come back into play here. Good. So now we want to come to something else now in business, and this is the reality of business. And that's loss. Loss, right? Sometimes you're only thinking of business making profit, but that's not so. Lots of times business make losses, right? And you know, you have to deal with those losses. A second, I'm not finding the wait a second. Yeah, looking for the loss formula. Good. So these are some formulas that govern loss. Because in business, sometimes you do suffer loss. Notice when it comes to loss is where your cost price is more than your selling price. You have to sell the thing for less, right? So the loss is the cost price minus the selling price. And the percent loss or the loss percentage is the loss over the cost price times 100%. Or if you were to remember, we said loss is this, so we put it back here. This is an alternative formula, right? And your selling price, if we take this formula and rearrange it, we get that the selling price is the cost price minus the loss. Right? And that can happen. You buy something and damage, water catch it. People say, you know what, you wet up and so. Let's say you're selling toilet paper and your roof get leaked. You say, toilet paper wet, you can't sell it to me for the same price. You gotta give me something less. Right? You go in courts and you want a fridge and you watch a side of the fridge dig or bend. Hey, no, I can't pay the money. You have to sell it at a loss, or else you just sit down in the store there, taking up space. Right? So yes, you do suffer loss right? So let's maybe take an example or two simple ones for us, and then, all right, let's go after that same problem we had, right? Yeah. So in this case, she didn't make a profit. She actually made a loss. Oh, it's a he. Sorry. So a shopkeeper buys 25 cricket balls at a total cost of 150. He sells them for $5. What was his percentage loss? Right? So cost price. What happened with cost price? 150. Selling price. $5 multiplied by 25. How much is that?
125, sir.
125. All right, good. So percent loss would be equal to 150 minus 125.
which give us 25.
25, sir.
Oh, you all did the calculation already. Times 100%, and you get one. Are you saying something else?
16.6 I have, sir.
How much?
16.66 and it continues.
All right. 16 point. You can go with 16.7%. That's the loss. Right? So that's a simple one. Maybe we can do back that same. We had one for earlier. What was it? Let me take this. Want to call for some extra. Okay, look at this thing. Look at this. So a businesswoman sold a refrigerator for $2,149. And she made a loss of 12% on the cost price. Determine the cost. So you know the selling price, you don't know the cost price. Right? And again, there are several ways of doing this one. Right? This selling price, 2,149, you can say that, okay, if they made a loss of 12%, right, the selling price is really equal to, that 88% of the cost price. right? 88% of the cost price. Y'all figure out what you do. It was a loss. So she has to be selling it for 88% of the cost price. That makes any sense to you? So in other words, 88%, right, equals to, and the assumption here is that the cost price is 100%, right? So, okay, let the cost price be equal to 100%. So this selling price is only 88% of that because she made a loss. So 88% equal to 2,149. So our goal is to find the cost price, is the 100%. So 1% is going to be equal to $2,149 over 88, right? And therefore the cost price, which is equal to 100%, will be equal to the same $2,149 over 88 multiplied by 100. All right, let's see what that is. 2149 divided by 88.
2,442.
2,442.
42.
Speak clearly.
2,442.
Great. Right? That's your cost price. You can check it back, find 12% of that, subtract it, and you're supposed to get back 2,140. That's one approach. So we can use the formula approach. We're going to do that just. Let this one sink in a little. Let's go with the formula. So we know that percent loss, the loss percent is what? What is it? Cost price minus selling price over cost price times percent, right? Good. We can do it. So we don't know the cost price. We know the selling price. Over the cost price equal to, times 100% equal to 12%, right? So first we divide by the 100 throughout, you get cost price minus when you divide, you take this over and divide, you get 0.12, right? Skipping over all of it. Taking it up a little there. So now I bring this over and I get cost price minus right, I'm taking this like this, cross multiplying. Right? Then I'm going to take this over here and I'm going to take that over here. So I have cost price minus 0.12 cost price equal, right? We subtract this, you get 0.88 CP equal to, therefore CP equal 2149 divided by, let's check this out, 0.88. And that should give you the, how was it? 24 something?
2,442. 2,442.
Yeah. So whether you use the 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 approach with the percentage or whether you use the formula, same thing. Digest that a little. Good. Can I move this down? Good. So we go to something we see very often during sales and so discount, right? You see that a lot when they have sales, right? So the thing has a certain price on the tag, and they say, man, I give you a discount of 10% during the sale, right? So basically, the selling price will be equal to the cost, sorry, the marked price, whatever is marked, the marked price minus the discount, right? Simple as that. Selling price, what you are actually pay, is going to be the marked price, but there's going to be a tag on it, and minus the discount. Right? Let's take a simple one. Look at this one. So, seem to be a sale. We have 15% discount if you pay cash, right? What will be the cash price for a dress with a marked price of $125, right? So you simply, so the cash price, right? Or, what you pay for the thing will be 125. Subtract 15%, which is 15 over times 125, right? And that would be 125 minus 15% of 125 is 1.
Sir, that's gonna be 106.25.
No, something wrong. 15% of 125, that's what we want.
18.75.
18.75. So when you subtract now, it's going to be what?
Sir, 106.2.
Good. So that's what you pay for the dress, right? And of course, not all the problems is that you have to calculate this. Sometimes they can give you other things, they can give you the discount in terms of money. They can give you this discount, and then you have to figure out the mark price, this amount, They can change up the problem so much, right? So just keep all those things in mind. So another thing that when you go shopping, you encounter is something called sales tax. I think in Guyana we call it VAT. VAT,
Yes, sir.
right? So before I leave, let me just give you the formula for the discount business. This was the formula I was looking for. 1 second. This was the formula for, right? The discounted price will be the selling price minus the discount, right? Going back to the VAT, what we call the sales tax. Sales tax. In Guyana here, I think we call it VAT, right? Value added tax or something like that, right? And usually, again, it comes back to uh, doing a calculation with percentage, right? It comes back to that. Right, so what basically you have to do, you have to pay, right? So the price you pay price pay will be equal to the mark price plus the VAT, right? And they have to, of course, calculate that in dollars, right? The value added tax. In Guyana here, it's a custom that they calculate tax for us and add it on. And the mark price is usually inclusive of the tax, right? So, yeah. So that's what they do in Guyana. Just to save us, who do that? The calculate. I think the VAT in Guyana is 16%. Is it that still?
No, sir. It's 14%, I know.
14. Okay, I thought
Yes, sir.
with all the oil we got, we supposed to don't pay tax in this country. All those oil countries don't pay tax,
Exactly, sir.
You shouldn't be paying tax. Everybody should have where you work for your care home, and you should pay no more taxes. And let them take your
But just pay NIS and done.
yeah. You're right. Let us just pay our NIS. Very good.
But sorry, my company, I don't in such way it's just NIS is just come out. So you just care home wherever people from the NIS and the total salary.
Okay, well, but they need to do that with everybody, but they're not doing it. Not doing it. All right. So look at this here. Simple example. Somebody buys a television set, right? And the television set is $2,124. There's a sales tax of 12%. How much you gonna pay for the television set? Well, right. So amount paid will be equal to, you have to pay this small amount plus 12% of 21.22, right? So that will be which is plus
2,000.
that will be a small number. 12% of 21.24.
$254.88.
Add the two together, you get one.
$2,378.88.
2,000.
378.88.
No. Go back slow. 2,000.
2,378.88.
Great. Right? These are simple calculations, you deal with in your real world. Right? Good. And then they have all these, like when you go and buy, you all heard of hire purchase before, right?
Yes, sir.
Hire purchase. So, okay, let me go to hire purchase. Hire purchase. Do y'all know what that is? It normally involves, okay. the
Sir,
Uh-huh.
it's like you purchase an item by making monthly payment until
Very
like you
good.
make a final payment.
Yeah. Very good. Right? Maybe let me show the form. I get a fancy form. Right? People buy a lot like this nowadays.
Sir, is quartz one of something like higher purchase? It's like when you're paying monthly on the item you take and like you pay a final payment, like pay out one time.
Great. That's it. Yes. Right? You pay a certain down payment, and like how Christmas coming on, courts will say no down payment. So this and all for the farmer again. Plus a certain amount more. Well, here is where they put on a heavy interest. Because remember, you carrying home them people TV, you carrying home them people chair set, and you only make a small down payment. Maybe the chair set costs 500,000, but you only pay them 100,000. So they actually lend you. They lend you like $400. I'm sorry, $400,000. In the form of a chair. You have to pay interest on that. Usually, when you check, different companies would charge different percent interest, and depending on how long you take to pay it back, right? To pay off for the item, the more interest you have to pay. And what they do with that, they take the amount you owe them, calculate the interest, and divide it by how many months you take to pay. Right? See? So you see what I say here? Outstanding balance. So whatever is the price of the thing, you pay a down payment, right? And the amount payable is really what they call the outstanding balance. But they add on interest, right? So the amount payable is no longer this amount here. No, they add on interest. Big.
Sir, it's like the reason why they add on interest is because they're making something on the item you take because you take long to pay the final payment. Is it something like that?
Exactly, yes. The people, that's what I'm saying. If this chair set costs 500,000, you don't pay 100,000. It's like the people, and you carry home the chair set. It's like the people lend you 400,000, right? They gotta charge interest, right? Because you don't believe me, some people know what they do. After 2 months, some child throw water and pee up or something on the chair set. And then they stop paying. They say, me, this thing, let courts come and take it back. Courts will suffer a big loss. You see?
And then, sir, the person might get pay money still for it because they damage the item.
No, sometimes people don't pay. They tell courts come and repossess the thing they wanted to know. Right?
Yeah, but in that case, if they damage it, they still have to, pay a small interest of the damages.
Some people don't pay. You hear what I'm telling you? And what has happened now, if you don't pay, courts will blacklist you. So if you go back there now, they're gonna
You
send
can't get for purchase non-item.
you mess up your credit, them call it. In America, they say you mess up your credit, mess up your account with us. Right? So a lot of people just try to pay out the thing. So higher purchase, that's the reality of the thing, right? All right. So let's see a simple one that we can probably do. Let me see a simple one. I want a complex one. I want a simple one. I ain't got no simple one here. I'll complex. All right, watch this one. Here's good. Look at this one. Oh, by the way, I didn't give you all a break.
Sir, just end class early then.
No, we ain't done yet. We got plenty more thing to do. Yeah. All right, we're not done. Yeah. So look at this one. So you have a television set. The price on it is $6,980. They say if you pay cash, you will get a discount. Right? We have 12% discount. If instead you buy it on higher purchase, you have to pay a down payment. In this case, then put it as a percent. They tell you what is the down payment. And then 24 monthly installments of $344.06. So they're telling you calculate these things. Let me go with the cash price. So if you buy the thing cash, you will get a discount. So we just did discount. So the discounted price is going to be what? It's going to be discounted price is going to be, I have to write it here, right? 69.80 minus 12% of 69.80, right? So can somebody help me with that? It'll be 69.80 minus what's 12% of 69?
837.6.
What? Emma, like you know, machine this afternoon, you all. Remember, let me give you some extra marks for all this hard work.
Yes, sir. I'm a test marks bruise up.
Boost up, yeah. There was another girl helping you out, but like she got to sleep over mine. How much is it? The 12%? Of the 69.80?
Sir, it's 837.6.
Good. So the discounted price then is going to be, do the subtraction for me. 69.80 minus 387.6.
That will be 6,142.98.
Good. So that's your cash price, you know?
No, sir, 994, sir, 94.
All right, good. So you see, it's a little good thing to pay cash. But you don't everybody getting money to pay cash. You understand? Everybody getting the money to pay the cash. Good. So we finish with A. Then next they want the higher purchase price. So we're gonna do that at the bottom here. Right? Higher purchase price then is what? HP would be $628.20. Oh, that's not the dollar cent. Plus $344.06. That's not the dollar cent. Times how much months? For 24 months. right? So multiply 3.
8,885.64. 8,885.64.
Look at that, right? So if you pay cash, you would have gotten it for this. If you pay a quiet hire purchase, that's what you pay. Hmm. Next, they want the difference between the higher purchase price and the market price, right? Higher purchase price and the market price. So, okay. Difference, I'm just going to write difference, right? Equal. So 8,085.64 minus, let's see what was the market price, 69.80. 69.80. How much is that?
That will be 1,905.64.
All right. And next, the last part now, they want the percent interest charge on the outstanding balance, right? So to get that, notice we got to get a lot of things here. We got to get, let's see if we can. The outstanding balance was what? Balance. Outstanding balance would be what? 6,018 minus 628. $628.50, which is
6,351.8.
so that's your outstanding. I want the percent interest charge on the outstanding balance. So percent interest will be okay, $1,905.64 over $6,351.80. Do that for me.
0 point
Hi, David.
triple zero
Hi, good night.
Sorry, did we answer?
Sorry about the call I get. Yeah. How much you get?
0.3000157.
Well, it can be so little bit. You multiply by 100?
Yep, times the 100%.
Yes, you multiply by 100.
So it could be, yeah, it's same 0.3
No,
triple zero.
can't be. 1905.64 divided by 6351.2 equal that. Multiply by 100. 30%. Right, get 30% of. Check it back. 1905.64 divided by 6351.8.
Yes, sir. 30.
Yeah, 30. Great. Who is that?
Yes, sir, check it back, it's starting.
Yeah. So you see how involved this problem is? Right? Yeah. Higher purchase. And some people, and I'm going to go to something very similar, right? Is what I call mortgage. Mortgage. Because what has happened now, people just buy property now. It's like buying property on hire purchase, not just some item. You know? Not just some item they buy hire purchase. I'm trying to see. Give me a second. Mortgage. Right? And mortgage is just a technical word for buying property on hire purchase, right? So
Yes, sir.
let's do a simple example. We haven't done what we call compound interest and so yet. We'll have to do that after test 2. But so we're not getting into the very difficult things, how you calculate interest using compound interest and so, right? We're doing a simple one. So let me take one. Let me move this aside, right? And we're gonna do one that involves mortgage now. Yeah, look at this one. So I probably gotta make it a little small because I use this space to write. So a house costs 150,000. And just like how you make a down payment, well, you say you make a 10% deposit. It's like you give the bank 10% of the 150,000. But the bank just want to see that you committed. They can't give you all this money. You want to buy a house and you get no money, you gotta get some money, right? So they want to see some commitment on your part, right? So you make a deposit of 10% of the 150, right? So you go tell the people, man, all right, the bank take 10% from you and they give you the rest, right? And they tell you now, well, you got to pay a certain amount for so much years, depending on the type of house and so. Wood house, they might give you 15 years to pay. Concrete house instead of a last more long, 20 and 25 years, and so, right? They will do a simple one. So simple. The deposit, the A part, right? Is going to be equal to 10% of 150,000, which is not easily that simple. I think strike off some zeros.
15,000, sir.
Okay.
Simple.
Yeah. I know like she's firing on all cylinders right tonight. Very good. Right? So we get a deposit. So if you deposit 15,000, it's like you borrow how much? Borrow. You may be doing the second part. This A part was that. How much you borrow? So you borrow amount borrowing would be equal to 150,000 minus 15,000, right? How much is that?
135,000.
So it's like the bank got to lend you this. You come up with 15,000, but they lend you 135. So they take you 15,000, they take their 135,000, they pay half the person. Person get a fat check, they can put it in the bank, do what they want, and they hand over the title. Right? So they say the total amount that you now got to pay, right? Besides the deposit, you have to pay how much? $2,250 for 20 years, buddy. So that is how much now. You have to add down. So it's $2,250 multiplied by 20, multiplied by 12, because 12 months in a year. That's a big money, buddy.
540,000?
How much? 240,000?
No, 540,000.
Oh my, there's like how much time did watch that the house cost 150? You pay like nearly 4 times it. But I want to erase this little piece because I need the space. But look at the amount. So they said the amount of interest paid to the bank. I think you sure this money, right? Because I check it back. It's not right. Too much money.
Sir, is that?
Yeah, why? Yes. 500 and home. So the interest paid then, right? That's this part here. Interest. You borrow 135 and you pay 540. 1, 2, 3 minus 135. Right? Because
81,000, sir.
how much?
81,000.
Sir, I have 405,000.
For home, my look interest there, boy. See the amount of interest you pay? Right? And the total amount paid for the house then. That's the E part. Total amount equal, well, the 540 plus the 15,000, right? Now you don't pay 15,000 plus the 540 that you pay. See how much money?
555,000.
500 and
55,000.
look at that. See? But this problem isn't realistic. This one, there's too much money, man. No way, no way, no way, no way. Very interesting.
Sir, it's reality. You have to accept it.
Yeah. Right. So we're not gonna, we were supposed to talk about different types of bills that you pay. I'm just going to give you like a general idea how to do it. Household bills. So again, all right, household bills. Bills, right? And this is like your water rates, right? Or your water bill. I'm going to use to say rate. Your light bill, your light bill. Well, let's just be pay internet bill to know, huh? Internet. This is the biggest bill, right? And how these bills, they all operate a little different. Like your internet bill, you might pay a fixed charge, um, plus some other charges, right? I think they call it, I forget they call it this, equipment charge, all kind of charges, right? Your light bill, you pay a fixed charge, right? Plus the number of units. Let me see if I can make this here. A fixed charge plus number of units multiplied by the rate per unit, right? Isn't that what they do? So there's always a fixed charge. I don't know what the fixed charge. And then depending on how many units of current you use or electricity you use, you multiply that by the rate per unit, right? And I think it's the same thing with the water rate. You pay a fixed charge, plus the number of units multiplied by the rate, right? And when I say rate, I mean the rate per unit. Okay, $50 for 1 unit of current. I think for water is around 40 cents per gallon, right? And they will actually tell you how much gallons. They have this meter at your house, measuring how many gallons of water you use, right? And they normally calculate that now, right? You have a previous reading and a present reading, and they'll minus the two. And they will tell you that for this month, you use 1,000 gallons. And you have to pay 40 cents per gallon. And they calculate it, right? So that's the kind of thing you see in, there are lots of examples in the notes, right? There are some examples in the notes you will follow. But it always involves a fixed charge, and then depending on the number of units you use, times the rate per unit. If you don't use any units at all, you still have to pay the fixed charge to keep the meter in, to keep the service. Right? So most household bills are like that. And there was a last thing that we have to touch on, and it has to do with currency exchange, right? Currency exchange. What I call currency conversion. And let me ask you a question. Anybody got to teach you how to change money? Somebody send some US for you.
Yes, sir.
Right? Anybody got to teach you how to do currency exchange? Huh? Nobody. Because you, let some US come for you now. Let some US come for you. You will see how you know how to do currency exchange right away.
Yes, sir, Namas.
I didn't hear that.
Yes, sir. At the time you will know how much you have to get.
Exactly. Right? I'll just do one example. Let me see an example. Let's see a simple example. Double up the whole thing. I will take a few. Is this too small? Or it's okay? Oh, everybody can see that?
Yes, sir.
Good. So they have some exchange rates here. Right? They're not realistic, but we're gonna work with them. So these are the exchange rates. $1 for $6.40 TT. $1 is $4.90. £1 is $11.50. And they're calculating a tax and so on. So all of that. All right. What if I should take all the all right, leave it. So it says, all right, in May 2004, American tourists changed $1,000 into Trinidad and Tobago currency. Calculate the tax paid for his transaction and the amount of Trinidad dollars he received. Right? So, all right. And the tax will be, and we deal with the A part, right? The tax will be 10 cents on the dollar. And how much is it? $1,000. So it will be 1,000 multiplied by 10 cents, right? So that'll give you what?
10,000, sir.
So 10,000 cents will be $100, right? 1,000 multiplied by 10 cents is 10,000 cents.
Yes,
Is $100.
yes, yes, sir.
That's a lot of tax. Oh gosh. That is terrible. That is terrible. They're robbing this man blindly. Right? Okay. And wait. I wonder if they mean that 10 cents on the dollar. I'm watching. No. Okay. Hold it. All right. Yeah. It just looks large, and that's why I'm really troubled by it. And the amount of TT dollars he received. So the exchange rate um, is basically $900 he getting back. I think what they did here, they actually changed the money. This is what it is. The textbook I'm talking about, right? The textbook actually did this. I will see if it's the same thing. They convert the 1,000 US. 1,000 US is equals to, okay, 1,000 multiplied by $6.30 TT. So you'll get one.
6,300.
Right? TT money. Good. And they now calculate this. Okay, the 10 cents in tax is 6,300 multiplied by the 10 cents, which will give us
63,000.
$630, right? TT.
Yes, sir.
Right? So the man will actually receive. Man receive the $6,300 minus the 630, which is
$5,670.
6,000.
No, sir, 5,670.
Yeah, right? This is TT dollars. Yeah. So I think they're telling you the tax, the 10-cent tax is very converted. You done the conversion then. You take the tax. Right? So now that I show you that one, well, you can do the rest. Right? And the notes would have this is a worked example in the notes. See if you can figure out the rest. And the working is in the notes I sent to you. But I think when it comes to changing money, and in Guyana here, we don't pay no tax. We go by the market and then buy where them guys were changing money. They're changing money just like that. But when you do it through banks, they normally take a little fee, they take a little transaction fee, they call it. They don't call it tax. They take a couple $100.
Or if it's fees or
Yes. They take some fees from you. Also, that is why people don't go to the bank. They go to the market and change their money. But there's a risk. That is very popular.
Supermarket.
Yeah. A friend of mine, somebody, as a matter of fact, this is how it happened. He's a money changer, right? And I think he had like more than 1.5 million or something. And he went to the bank and somebody robbed him and stabbed him up. This is in New Amsterdam. He survived though, he didn't die. Those are risks, if you don't careful. All right, so we're gonna stop there, right? And I'm going to send you some questions for you to try for next Monday, which you're going to present to the class. And then next week, Wednesday, you'll have test number 2.
Okay, sir. Don't forget my extra marks.
Definitely, no, can't forget. You and that other girl, and there was a boy talking here. Yeah, why you all involved in the class, like Emma here and that other girl. More you involve, the more you will learn, If you sit down passively and, you wouldn't learn much. All
Sir,
right.
just add it to my recent test marks. Thank you.
Yeah, man, I gotta make you up.
why that missed some classes.
Oh, that's the guy who missed the classes. But you have to
Yes, sir.
yeah, you have to make up to.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah. Good. So yeah.